Let's see how long it takes for me to fill up my planners and journals for today. Okay, so I do have to apologize. I forgot to check my camera setup before I started filming, and my head and baby hairs were popping in and out of the frame the entire video. It is so annoying. I tried to crop it out a little bit, which is why the quality is a little grainy, and you can still end up seeing my baby hairs. So I am sorry about that. As you can see, it is already Friday, so I didn't have time to refilm the video. And also, if I did refilm it the next day, then I would have already known like roughly how much time it would take me. So kind of defeats the element of surprise. So hopefully this is still watchable somewhat. But yeah, anyways, again, I was planning for Friday. You will see that at the beginning of the video, I had a few things already laid down. Like, for example, the prompt was already written down, and I already like used my brush pen to determine the colors and stuff. That is quite organic. Sometimes the day before, if I have a little bit of time, I will just go ahead and write down a few short things for the next day. I kind of just see it as like making things easier for myself the next day. Similar to like, for example, picking out your outfit the night before, you know? Okay, so as you saw, I was very nervous about timing this whole thing. Just like having the timer there as I'm writing was quite nerve-wracking. So right away, I made a mistake. The daily prompt was, what is a fashion trend you like and dislike? So on the left, I had the things that I like, and then on the right, I had the thing that I dislike. And I dislike crop tops because I don't know, I prefer full length shirts. But I accidentally wrote it under like, and I had no idea how to fix it. So I opted for a sticky note to cover it up. And my actual fashion trend that I like is mom jeans, high-waisted mom jeans. But yeah, in the end, I actually really like how the ripped sticky note paper thing looks. Also, a few things about the timer. I really wanted to record this video without any cuts, apart from like obviously when I stop planning, but I did cut out a few moments because again, my head was like taking up half the frame, and I don't think anybody wants to see a high definition shot of my scalp. So that is a reason, but you will see like the timer move accordingly. Also, I didn't turn on the camera when I was just like quickly checking something off my to-do list because I feel like that would be a bit silly. And the reason I wanted to film this video is because I often get a lot of comments or like questions asking how much time I spend on my spreads, and like you must have a lot of time on your hands. And typically I give an answer that like I spend maybe 15 to 30 minutes every day on my spreads. However, I actually am never sure because I update my planners and journals throughout the day, so it was just always a guess. So I really wanted to like find out once and for all roughly how much time I spend. And I actually think this would be a fun challenge for anyone out there to see exactly how long they spend in their journals and planners. If you end up timing yourself one day, definitely let me know. Also, if you are familiar with my channel and the way I typically plan, you might notice that this is actually a very different setup for my Hobonichi cousin. Typically in the weekly section that I'm writing in here, I use a timeline as a scheduling thing. But then recently, I've just been feeling a little bit bored and uninspired. So for this week, I just completely ditched my usual layout, and I used this like thin emoji washi tape to divide up the page. And the top half is my work to-do list, and then the bottom half is my personal to-do list. And also on the sidebar, the top part is where I put my work hours as well as the YouTube videos I was uploading. And then the bottom part, I put down my grocery list. So it's also divided by work and personal things. Do I like this? I don't think so. But I think for next week, I'm gonna go back to my usual hourly schedule. But honestly, just like having this completely different shakeout week made me gain a little appreciation for my usual spreads, if that makes any sense. And then for my daily section, typically that is where I put my to-do list. And since I already put my to-do list on the weekly section, in the daily section, I ended up using it as a scheduling tracker as well as writing down my goals for the day and check-ins throughout the day. I actually quite like how the daily pages turned out, so I might still take some elements into next week. Also, this video is edited differently from my usual videos because you will see a lot of like pauses and like hand tapping because I kept in all of the times I was like thinking of what to write down for my to-do list or even like waiting for the ink to dry. That all counts as part of the time. I think on this day I wrote in my planner a total of 4 times. So this is like those 4 times stitched together. Right away when I woke up in the morning, I answered the prompt and kind of mapped out my day. And then when I got back from the gym, that is when I wrote my first real entry, I guess, as well as my to-do list for the day. And then I had one check-in during the day, and then ending off the night, I wrote down my last entry. That is typically how things go. I think on average, I write about 3 times a day. So about this week, I guess, I was pretty busy because we had new releases yesterday on Saturday. So I had a lot of prep work to do for that. Simultaneously, I'm also doing prep work for August, which is going to be a really, really busy month. There's going to be my birthday sale, which is typically our largest sale of the year. So it requires a lot of prep work. And of course, I will also be attending the Stationery Fest in New York. So I have to really think about the logistics behind that because I think this is my first time selling quote unquote internationally, even though it's just like in the USA. I am flying there, and while we are able to like ship stuff to Yoseka for them to store, they don't accept packages until like very close to the date, which is understandable because, you know, they're a small business and there's no way they can keep so many boxes for all of the vendors for like months. So I definitely will be carrying or like bringing stuff in my suitcase, and I have no idea how I'm going to get my like vendor set up there, like all of the shelves and racks for the washi tape. I don't know. It is currently a nightmare. So that is mostly what's taking up my time these days. Very exciting, of course, and it's definitely outside of my comfort zone, which is what makes it exciting. So yeah, I'm excited to share more about it as things finalize. As you can see by the lighting, it is now my evening planning session. I just wrote off my last entry, checked off a few things on my to-do list, reviewed the goals that I had for the day. My recent daily goals have been to limit my sugar intake, which has not been going so well because I love my sweets. And also to spend at least an hour every day engaging in one of my hobbies, whether it be reading, knitting, or playing Stardew Valley. One of my customers named Ruth, I met her in Orlando. She gifted me a sardines Trader Joe's grocery bag, and I finally decided to start using it. I kept the little tag and I decided to stick it in with washi tape just as a little keepsake. It's a little bit warped and popping off the page a bit, so I think I might actually use some double-sided tape later to stick it down better. Yeah, and then I ended off the day just by checking off my to-do list. All right, it looks like it typically takes me about 30 minutes, give or take, to fill out my journals. Obviously, sometimes I will have shorter entries, and sometimes my entries are a lot longer, so
It's quite varied, but I think 30 minutes is a pretty good estimate. So I hope you enjoy this video. I am going to read and head to bed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.